All right, welcome back to the Top Step. It's time for the San Juan Seltzer interview. I've got Miles Mastrobuoni with me on this episode. I'm so excited to talk to you, Miles. I've talked to you here and there, but just getting to know, your story, where you were the last couple of years, breaking in. I feel like you found a home here with the Mariners.
Oh, it's been great here so far. Everyone's been super welcoming right from the minute I got over here. So that plays a huge part in just kind of settling down and everything like that. And, getting up to Seattle here, fan base is amazing. City's beautiful. I mean, look at what we got today. And, just excited to be here.
Where do you spend most of the time in the off season?
Now it's Florida.
Why is that?
So I came up with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
I grew up in California my whole life, 23 years. My parents are from the East Coast, Jersey and New York. Italian, Irish heritage, and they moved back about end of 2000. Back to Jersey in 2017. So we made our way back up there and be with family and everything like that.
Right.
We were the only people in our family out on the West Coast, and so just coming up with the Rays, ended up falling in love with Florida.
Yeah.
The weather. Off-season wise, just spending some off seasons up in Jersey. Not too much of a cold person myself, so I met my girlfriend down there and everything, and the rest is history.
How'd you guys meet?
We met on an online thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just typical.
That's how the kids do it these days.
Yeah. So but 6 years strong. Yeah.
So tell me about how does that work? So like online, you meet each other. What you go?
So this was during spring training. So she's from right around where I did spring training with the Tampa Bay Rays, and we just nothing too crazy. Just met. And
when you're online though, are you like putting it out there that professional baseball player, or are you trying to keep all that under wraps? Like when does that hit?
I might have had a picture up there or something.
Okay,
But I don't throw it out there too much, to be honest with you.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie, man. There was times when I come to the States, I grew up in Australia where no one, if you play baseball, oh yeah, that's good. Like, why aren't you playing rugby? Why aren't you surfing or whatever it may be?
Yeah.
So there was no impressive whatever. But when I was in the States, I'm like, man, people actually like baseball. Like, what the, I have some clout over here.
Yeah.
So again, man, trust me, man, I used to do that back in the day for sure.
Yeah.
So you guys, so what do? You go out for what? You go meet up with each other? And
yeah, we just went out. We went to dinner that night. She got off work. I feel like it's 6 years ago. I remember it was yesterday. She just got off work. Yeah, I mean, the thing that was great about it was super chill. Like, it was, didn't feel like it was forced and everything like that. And I think that's what just kind of allowed us to fruition into going 6 years strong now.
What does she do?
She just graduated. Super proud of her. She just graduated with a degree in elementary school education. She just finished that up here in May, and I was bummed I wasn't able to be there at the graduation. But
get those summers off.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I was watching though, and like I said, just super proud of her. That's awesome. She put in a lot of hard work and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of second guessing. Right. But she stuck to it, and I give her all props for that.
It's awesome, man. Now listen, this off season, you signed with the Mariners. You had time. You mentioned you came up with Tampa Bay. Then you had some years with the Cubs.
Yep.
How did you get to the Mariners? How did all that happen? When did you sign with the Mariners, and how did that go down?
Yeah. This last offseason, ended up getting DFA'd with Chicago in January. And, that was the first time in my career that I went through that. So, not having a job is a little scary for a second there. But, just super thankful that the Mariners saw something in me and wanted to take a shot on me. And, like I said, just being so welcoming and coming in and being able to just kind of relax. And they got a really good group here, staff-wise, and the guys that are in that locker room. So just able to go out there, do my thing in spring, and join this club at the start of the season. So,
I mean, it is stressful. I'm glad you said it, because I've been there before too, where it's like you get let go, and it's the worst feeling ever, especially in the off season too, because you're on your own. You're not around teammates. You're not around anyone else who's kind of been through that. And then you call in your agent or whatever it may be. Did you have, how long after you got DFA'd, was it multiple teams reaching out to your agent? Was it like as soon as that went down, was your agent like, hey, we're all good, I've heard from this team, that team, or was there a few days there you're like, oh man?
To be honest with you, when it happened, I talked with my agent and everything like that, and he just said, there's a time period that you have that you go on waivers and everything like that, and he's just like, look, we'll see what happens with all that and everything, and we'll kind of whatever comes about, we'll just go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have any other options that you had to make a decision essentially?
No. So the way it kind of works, from my knowledge, is when you get DFA'd, you go on waivers and you have a time period that you're on waivers, and any team can contact the team that you were on.
Right.
And I think in the off season they have to make a trade of some sorts.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the Mariners saw something in me, and I'm very thankful for that. And yeah.
What was the first conversation you had with the Mariners once you found out that you were coming here? Who contacted you? What was besides your agent, someone from the team?
Yeah, it was actually kind of crazy. I was working out, hitting at the time, and in between rounds, I usually don't check my phone too much, but just kind of within that period, you're checking your phone just a little bit more, see if you see anything or something like that. And I had missed call from my agent, text from my agent, missed call from the GM over in Chicago, text from the GM over in Chicago. So I'm like, oh, okay, there's something must have went on.
Okay.
Justin ended up calling me and welcomed me to the team, and told me the stuff that they liked in me and the reason why they wanted to grab me, and yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, it's just those times where, at the time when you're dealing with it, there's just so many questions on what's going to happen. Sure. And then you get with an organization, and it's nice to be wanted, right? Like there was times where I'd be with a team and they'd sign me or whatever, but you didn't quite feel like I'm sort of on the outside looking in. But when you got to spring training, was there that feeling of like, man, this team actually wants me, and there is a place for me on this team coming straight out of camp?
Yeah, you always get that feeling whenever a team picks you up or something, and I told Justin the same thing. I appreciate you guys and seeing something in me, and I'm going to give you guys everything I got, right? Like, that's kind of just my MO. I'm going to go out there and give it 100%, and some days are going to be really good, some days are going to be really bad. You're hoping for the really good ones all the time, but unfortunately in the sport, they don't come too often,
Right.
You deal with a lot of failure and everything like that, but it's been good. Just trying to be myself when I came over here, not trying to be someone that I'm not, and I think that's what allowed me to play my game during spring and show these guys what I got.
Were you doing that when you were with the Rays or the Cubs? Were you trying to be someone you're not? Did you fall into that?
Sometimes you do, even over here sometimes you do. Like, I felt like at the beginning of the season I fell into it a little bit. That's just your competitive nature,
Right.
That's your side of you feel like there's always more there, what I'm saying? You're always trying to get more. The thing that's kind of crazy is when you realize that and you take a step back and you let your kind of athleticism take over,
Yeah.
that's when the more kind of picks up. So it's hard to realize that at times, but when you do, I think that's when the best comes out of you.
Do you ever get to a place where you feel like you're comfortable at this level? Or do you all constantly feel like you're looking over your shoulder, or you're stressed about something? You know what I mean? Because look, when I played, man, like there was times where I was having success. There's a lot of times where I sucked too. Oh my God. And it's just so stressful. Like, my mum would come to town and I'm like, she goes, oh, this is so great. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, because you're not playing. Like, I had to have to come here, and she struggled watching games because she's just like, at what point are you going to get either DFA'd, sent down, whatever it may be? Do you ever get to a place like, do you feel like that now with this team? I'm not saying that you're worried about getting moved off the roster, because you haven't. You're feeling I feel like you're filling such a void with this team. Even playing third base just the other day, and I want to get to that play you made.
Thank you.
No. But I still, when I say that, I'm like, it never gets to a place where you're like, oh, I'm dialed in. I've got this figured out.
Here's what I'll say. there's always a guy coming, right?
Right.
Wherever you're at,
Yeah.
pitcher, position player, there's always someone coming. If you take a day off, if you just relax for just a second, maybe that could be that time, right?
Yeah.
But also on the flip side of it, you just got to focus on today, right? Focus on today, focus on getting better, focus on what can I do to help the team win tonight, right? A lot of those things sometimes you can't control. Obviously if you're not playing well, that's probably never going to help your cause. But, I really do believe that if you give your 100% every single day, you can really look yourself in the mirror and be like, look, I gave it everything I got. And unfortunately, maybe this just wasn't my time.
Right.
I do really believe in right place, right time. You got to have some luck on your side in this game. You really do. And so, I try and look at that. I don't try and get too caught up in all those kinds of things and thinking about all this and that, but just really focusing on just one day at a time. What can I do tonight to help this ball club win? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
I want to go back to last year real quick. There's a couple times you got optioned down, called back up. Two sides of that. Tell me about some of the conversations when you go into the office. Is it when you have that meeting with the manager and they're talking about, they're sometimes they tell you what you want to hear, or they're trying to give you the most they can. So when you go down, you're full of confidence and you're ready to go when you come back up. What were some of the things that were said to you when you were sent down? And is it something that, if a team says, look, we've got to make a roster, but what are some things that they said to you? And tell us about that feeling, man, when you go in, have that meeting with the manager, and the days after that. Because I remember it, man, back in the day. It sucked, because you have that meeting, like, okay, I'm going to be okay. And then day 1, day 2, day 3, like, oh, man, I feel like I am the odd man out. Yeah. How am I going to get back?
Yeah, that's obviously tough, getting sent down. Your dream is to play in the big leagues and stuff. So when you get sent down, you get a little bit of that ripped away from you. What the attitude that I always looked at was, you still have an opportunity. Yeah. You still have an opportunity to go down there, play every single day, get that rhythm back, get that confidence kind of back instilled in you. You know that you can do it, but sometimes you need to just show yourself again and again that, all right, I still do have it. And, it can be tough at times, but that's why this game will challenge you. You got to be mentally strong. You got to be able to deal with the kind of ups and downs and the ebbs and flows. And I keep reiterating it, but taking it one day at a time. If you get sent down, all right, I'm going down there. I'm going to work on this, and this, what I feel like I wasn't doing well while I was up here, and just show them that I can help the ball club win when they call me back up.
Now, on the flip side, you're in AAA and you're starting to rake, and it works both ways. You have that feeling like, oh man, one of these days. Were you one of those guys who would watch the big league team every day and find out what everyone's doing, or the guys who are in front of you essentially or taking your spot?
I'll be honest, I'm 100% truthful with this. I don't.
Really? Dude, I couldn't help myself, man. That was a mess.
I know. It's hard at times.
Right.
I definitely check in, what I'm saying? You got guys that you just want to check in on, you got buddies that are up there and everything. You just want to check in, see how they're doing. But I really not tried to get too caught up in all that. I really tried to just focus on the things that I needed to do. Because at the end of the day, some of those things you could be raking and you're not getting called up, you can't control that. You know what I'm saying? What you can control is still continuing to show up every single day and work hard and go out there and do things, even though you're down in AAA, do things to help that team win. So
this year, going into spring training or making the team, what are some things about Miles Mastrobuoni that have put you at this place to say, you know what, now this is who I am as a player? What are some things, call them upgrades, or some things that you had to make sure that you had going into this year to be a guy who's here every single day and filling the spot that you're filling on this team?
Yeah, I had to take a big step back after last year. I struggled a decent amount last year in the big leagues and down in the minor leagues. So I really had to take a step back, and I really had to be truthful with myself when I looked in the mirror and tell myself, yo, these are the things that you need to change. Or
what were some of the struggles?
Yeah, just not being consistent. Not being consistent. I pride myself in consistently having good at bats. getting the barrel on the ball. You know, I've shown that I can slug a little bit, but I've had kind of trouble showing that a little bit here in the big leagues and everything like that. But just being myself, what is that? Having a good at bat, putting the ball in play, putting pressure on the defense, walking, right? Steal bases, do things like that to get in scoring position. One of the big things I really looked at this offseason was just getting back to being handsy. Getting handsy at the plate, not trying to do too much in a sense. What we kind of just talked about earlier was not doing too much allows me to, you know, fulfill those needs of slugging, or if the case may be. You know, I still need to feel like I can do a little bit more of that. But, you know, I'm just going to let those things kind of come.
Is that something, just real quick on that, is that something where you feel like you have to drive the ball more because that's what pays, right? Like, I mean, guys who drive, like I remember Stephen Kwan going into spring training last year was like, yeah, you know what, one of the best bat to ball, obviously, and that's his game. But he's like, oh, I want to hit for more power. Then all of a sudden, a couple months in, he's like, oh, this is not me. Is it like kind of like inherent pressure?
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Slug changes games, right? So, you know, you want to do that, right? Everybody wants to do that, you know. It kind of is, it's one of those things that puts fans in the seats, right? They want to come here and see the monster home run. Understanding that, but also understanding what you do really well. Understand that those are going to come. There's times during the season where all you're hitting is singles, you know what I'm saying? You're walking a little bit. And then there's times in the season where you go through where all you're doing is slugging, your doubles, you're hitting homers, like this and that. And so you got to kind of understand those kinds of things. You know, when those are going on, when say you're just hitting singles, whatever the case may be, like understand that you're having great at bats. There's no reason that you need to change anything or anything like that, knowing that that's just what comes with 600 plate appearances in a season.
All right, that play you made on Sunday was ridiculous, man. I mean, because for a couple of reasons. Number one, you got the sun. I don't know if that's. I mean, I'm trying to think of what time of day it was. It's around this time, right? You had the sun, like the bright sky. You got Mitch Garver, who like is about to fall over you, right? And plus two, like you have to be aggressive on that play. So at what point coming in from third base, when you're charging in, you're like, oh man, I have to get in here. I got to make this catch. Not to mention slide underneath that catch and make a sliding catch.
Right when that ball went up, I knew it was going to stay in the park. This field, the ball's come back big time. I think the wind kind of plays off that left field foul pole. I don't think you really feel it too much while you're on the field, but when that ball gets kind of above the stadium, I think the wind really kind of gets a hold of it. Like I said, balls come back, I think, here a lot more than other parks, which is kind of, that's part of just how some ballparks play. I saw Garv going for it, and then that thing just really came back towards home plate like hard. And I think I watched the video a couple times, and you can see me kind of peek up at it, look down at Garv, and I just felt like I was on that angle of where the ball was kind of coming down, and you're supposed to call it, and I didn't call it, to be honest with you, because I saw Garv was kind of like right underneath it and everything like that, and you know, that thing just kind of really took off on him, and you know, I'm just glad I was able to be there for him.
Yeah, it was sick, man. I mean, because again, the other thing, part of that too, look, I always look at it from a pitcher's lens, right? And I'm like, especially for me, I'm like, I need to get any out I can get. And when you see the ball get popped up, yeah, okay, I made a pitch. And then there's that moment where you see the catcher start to back, you're like, oh man. And all of a sudden, here you come in, sliding the catch. It was epic. Hey, I got to ask you this.
That. Thank you.
Who's the guy, last couple of years, that one of the, like, and I don't want to say this because, you know, you don't want to give it away if he all of a sudden says, oh, you know, you can't see me. What guy you have faced, they're just like, man, he is so hard to hit. Like, there's just that thing about him. I got two, obviously there's probably some of the well-knowns, right, out there. I mean, we saw Chapman first game against the Red Sox, who looks like he's ridiculously hard to hit. But who's someone last couple of years that you can think back at, man, just super uncomfortable at bat?
Yeah, I'm bad getting put on the spot, because I'll always think of someone, and then like right after this, I'll walk down and be like, oh, I should have said this person or whatever. But I don't know right now if I can really hone in on one person.
Right.
A lot of these guys that they're running in on the back end part of the games, I mean, they're legit, man. All these guys are coming out throwing 100.
I know, it's ridiculous.
You know, I don't know if I saw Duran with the Twins when he was actually starting in the minors.
Oh.
I haven't seen him up here when he's closing. That just really doesn't look like a fun at-bat. He's throwing a 99 mile an hour splitter.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of those guys on the back end part of the pen, you know, are really going to give you a tough time.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the guys that stick out to me. You know, the thing that's kind of crazy is sometimes you have a guy that's got unbelievable stuff, but you just see his stuff really well. Or there might be a guy that doesn't really have too overpowering stuff, but just get you out all the time. So it kind of varies on that front.
I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus here and make you name names here, but there's got to be guys here like, man, I just see this so easy. Like I can see that break ball out of his hand.
Yeah,
right? I mean, is there any of those guys that exist these days in the big leagues? Because I felt like half the league felt that way when I was pitching. Hey, man, I had Justin Moreno say to me, this is after he was actually on this show, and he goes, dude, I could see your, like, left on left. I'm like, dude, he looks so comfortable against me. And I always pitch well against the Twins. He goes, man, I could see your breaking ball out of your hands so easily. I'm like, really? I just had this sinking feeling in my stomach.
Bad feeling for a pitcher right there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes it, sometimes it varies on parks. Sometimes you see the ball better here or there.
And you're talking about because the batter's eye or the?
Yeah, there's all different things. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of go into it, to be honest with you. Some batter's eyes are super small. Some guys that stand on the third base side of the rubber, if you're a righty and you're a lefty, they throw outside the batter's eye, and you get a lot of those. Some parks are brighter than others. But you know, it varies. Like, here's what I will say. When you're feeling really good at the dish, you can put anyone out there and you feel like you have that confidence, you feel like you have that swag, and you feel like anybody that you throw out there is not going to get you out.
Right.
And then you go through spurts where you've had a lot of success off guys and you're not feeling that great at the bat, you're not seeing the ball well, and you feel like you can't even touch the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, it varies, right? And the one thing I will say is when you're feeling good, don't try and switch anything. Don't look into too much, looking for certain pitches, this and that. Just holding that confidence about you and going up there and just trying to have a good at bat.
Are the shadows a real thing? If there's a shadow,
Oh yeah.
100%.
Big time. Shadows are a real thing in the big leagues.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay, that's good to hear because. You know, sometimes I sit up there and we'll see a shadow. I'm like, you know, everyone makes such a big deal about it, but it's good to hear that the shadows make that big of a difference.
What I think with the shadows is when the guys in the sun, and even sometimes too, when the sun is shining on the batter's eye, and it's dark and where like the infield, that makes it pretty tough. But I think where the toughest is when the shadow is right on the pitcher, where the pitcher's still in the sun, and right when he releases the ball, it goes right in the shadows because it's just hard to pick up spin when it's like that.
Well, that's good to know. Now, Miles, I've kept you too long. Before I let you out of here, we've got to do the How to Speak Australian, brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi. The Kangaroo and Kiwi is an Aussie pub. It's in Ballard. It's unbelievable. One day, if you're cool enough, you'll go there. I'll put you on the VIP list. But all right, listen, you're 5'10"?
Yeah.
Or you can say 5'11" if you want.
No,
5'10".
5'11" with cleats on.
Yeah. How much do you weigh?
185.
Okay. So if we were to play rugby league, now not rugby league, they're different. Now this is a multiple choice, so I'm going to put you to the test. Would you be at your size, and you got speed, you're agile, you move around, would you be a prop, a 5'8", or a fullback?
Definitely not a fullback.
What do you got?
I'm going to go prop because that sounds like it's the smallest guy on the field. And when you think about prop, they're usually smaller.
Okay, all right. Now listen, you can play along on social media at the Top Step TV, and you can play along. Would Miles Mastrobuoni be a prop, or would you be a 5'8"? Now I'm going to tell you, just for the episode's sake,
right.
you'd be a 5'8". A prop's like a
Okay.
front row, the big dudes up the front who just
course.
push.
I
They do what's called the
should
head
have
ups.
known it was going to be the opposite.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to know either. You were talking a little bit of rugby before we jumped on. You
Yeah.
said you played a little bit back in the day. But that was how to speak
An American version of
American
rugby.
version,
American
soft
rugby.
version of it.
Yeah.
Well, Miles, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we love having you here. I love watching you play, man. How dynamic you are, and you just feel such a
I
void for
appreciate
this team. And that catch was epic. I just kept going on about the 3 innings up there, so it was good,
I
man.
appreciate you. Thanks for
Miles,
having me.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.